We see a young boy named Yain sweating and bleeding. He remembers his memories of his mom, with whom he had a good time. Yain is standing in front of the strike force and says in his heart, sorry, to his mom. The strike force fires, but Yain uses his power to kick at the ground, and the ground cracks, shatters, and breaks apart. He destroyed the strike force in seconds with his power. Here, we are introduced to our hero's past. He was a fish swimming in the lake one day, a bird flying in the skies another day, and an ant on another day walking with other ants. Yain also lived as the great dinosaur in the volcano's heat until the flowers blossomed. Yain has lived and died thousands of times as different beings on the earth. Yain remembers all of his past lives, including once when he lived as an elephant and was again killed by humans. Millions of years passed, and human beings are the only ones towards which he feels hatred. Every time Yain is killed and consumed by a stronger being, it is a natural rule, and he has no issue with this. Yain hates humans because they kill others for their own benefit without caring for others, and it seems to him that they enjoy doing so. Humans are getting more powerful every time, and the methods they use have no limits, which makes it hard for others to counter them. Yain has lived thousands of lives, and he has been killed by humans every time. Death is nothing for Yain, but still, he feels hatred toward humans. The lives accumulated over millions of years, but every time death approaches him, he has questions in his mind. What kind of being will he be reborn as this time? Why does he have the ability to be reborn, and when will all this end? Yain doesn't want to be reborn again because he is tired of being reborn repeatedly. The birth pain is like crushing his entire body. The pain he was realizing was so great that he had never felt it before, so he is thinking of being reborn as a mammal. The pain is making him excited for his new life. Yain knows from his past experiences that more pain means the chances of being at the top of the food chain are better. Yain has no idea how much time has passed, and he feels cold air after coming out of the lair along with the warm touch. Yain's vision is blurry, but when he sees clearly, he realizes he is reborn as a human, the only being he hates. Yain hears the sound of people calling him when he is going to the hospital with his mom. It is the first time that he has had a name. It seems to Yain that the lives of humans are complicated. At the hospital, Yain wonders if all humans are alive, but still, they have drawn divergence between countries and castes. Humans name everything and give meaning to everything. The doctor reads the test results for Yain and tells them he has no problems. Yain's mother questions the doctor about why Yain can't talk, to which the doctor responds that he is 6 and it's too early for him to talk. Yain never responds to his mother when she tries to talk to him, and even he didn't cry when he was born. The doctor has doubts he might have psychological problems because there is no physical problem, so the doctor suggests taking Yain to a psychiatrist. Yain's mother becomes angry after hearing that because the doctor thinks her child is crazy. Yain's mother's name is Youngshul, and she is stupid and ignorant. Youngshul lost his family in a war, and his husband in another war. The world is ruthless for her, but she has his child, Yain, to care for. Youngshul used to sell vegetables in the local market, putting Yain on her back when he was little for their livelihood. Youngshul once heard somewhere that babies who grow up hearing people talk politely become good people. Although Yain shows no response, Youngshul still tries to tell him valuable things and shows her love for Yain, but he doesn't understand that. But the feeling he has felt, he doesn't hate. In this life, there is a blatant difference. A trio is running behind a man in the middle of the night. That man fell to the ground over a rock, and the trio reached for him, having negative intentions to kill or capture him because they think he is a communist. That man tells them he is not a communist and lets him live. Then they let him get up and will judge it later. Meanwhile, Yain, standing at the top of the pole, shining with the moon, grabs the trio's attention, and they call him down. Yain came down using his frog power to test his powers, and the trio wonders how he climbed it and came down from that much height. Yain runs as fast as a cheetah and punched a guy badly in a trio who has a gun. Yain was born with an ability that he had not before. He has the abilities of all the beings he has lived as, and he doesn't know why, but one thing is clear to him: it is the end of the long journey and it is his last life. Another guy from the trio shouts out at Yain, and he turns around. Finally, Yain can die. The guy punched Yain, and he fell to the ground. It hurts Yain because, until he uses his power, he is like a normal human being. Yain gets up and stares at that guy. That guy is a little scared and angry and is about to attack, but Yain uses his turtle power to defend himself and holds that guy by his neck using chimpanzee power. Until Yain can use his power, he can be anything. Yain is about to punch that guy, but the communist shoots Yain in fear, and he falls to the ground. Yain realizes he made a mistake to save the communist. The communist runs away in fear, and the left person behind the trio is too far behind. The next morning, Yain turns straight and realizes he was hit again by the gun. It hurts Yain because it penetrates through his internal organs. Yain has doubts about dying again after being shot by a gun. Yain sees the sky, gets up, turns around, and vomits. He lives again using his survival instincts as a sea cucumber. Now, there is nothing for him to experience, but it was interesting for him. It doesn't make sense to him that he has such abilities within his small body, but this is how things are in work. Yain hears his mother's voice calling him. It is early morning, and people just woke up to Youngshul's voice and have doubts about Yain running away. Youngshul is calling Yain so loudly with the pain of him missing. Yain sees a bird sitting on a scarecrow and eats it. He is not fully grown, but he can hunt for himself, and for now, he has no reason to live with his mom. Yain was just standing at the farm when he heard Youngshul's voice crying so hard, but he went. After 4 days, Yain walks tiredly and falls to the ground. He is burning with hunger and sickness. He is feeling stomach pain and has doubts if it's because of food. He has thought he is an omnivore, so he has eaten a bird, a snake, and a rabbit. It is a feeling he has never felt in his millions of lives. He is dying but has no regrets if it is the end of his life. Meanwhile, Youngshul comes and hugs Yain while he is thinking. He is about to die, but his thoughts have become clear now, and he is hungry and wants food made by Youngshul. Yain accepts Youngshul as his mom and sees the sunset happening, which seems wonderful to him. Yain decides to stay with Youngshul until he becomes independent, and he also decides to try leading the life of a human. The trio that we have seen are detectives. An investigator questions the communist, and he tells about the kid and how he killed him. But the investigator questions the communist about why they only found Detective On's body at the incident site. He suspects that the communists killed Detective On, but he tells them he killed only the kid. The communist says to the detective who got his hand fractured to speak the truth of what he has seen, and he shot the kid to save him. But the detective responds to the investigator to not believing or taking the communist's words seriously. The investigator becomes tired and ends the conversation. He orders them to take the communist. Suddenly the communist speaks the truth, that the detective is pretending to not know what happened and that Detective On was killed by the kid, and the one to whom he shot was the kid. He called the kid a monster, but the investigator doesn't believe him. The detective grabs the word monster and starts investigating it. Afterward, Yain goes with Youngshul to school. Youngshul held Yain's hands after the day when he ran away because she was afraid of losing him again. Yain feels Youngshul's hand warm and smiles, and Yain doesn't hate what Youngshul did for him, but it makes him think it could be dangerous. As they arrived at the school, Youngshul took immediate action and scolded the children who had beaten Yain. When a teacher attempts to provide an explanation, fighting is a common occurrence between children, but Youngshul remains firm. Youngshul starts scolding the teacher too and warns the kids who beat Yain. After seeing Youngshul's behavior, Yain realizes Youngshul is only nice to him. The two old women are discussing Yain and saying that there must be something wrong with Yain. As Youngshul hears this, she becomes angry and scolds those women for talking nonsense about his child and saying they don't need their opinion. Youngshul argues with a man about why she loves the country and what it has done for them. As Youngshul lost her father and became an orphan, her husband died in the same way, and she became a widow. Now, that man wants the spot where she has been selling vegetables since before Yain was born. She fights fiercely for their livelihood, standing her ground and refusing to budge. She faces the man with unwavering determination and declares that she will not move, no matter what. She knows that if she were to yield, both she and her child would face certain starvation. She lies down on the ground and challenges the man, daring him to kill her or leave her alone. Youngshul fights against the world, and as time passes, Yain becomes used to humans' bodies and their lifestyle. Youngshul and Yain were around flowers, and she took one flower and put it on her hair. She asks him how she looks, but as Yain starts thinking of leaving, she offers food. Yain holds Youngshul's hands, which are warm and rough, to go get food. Yain asked Youngshul why she fights, and she responded to protect him. A strong wind blows away the flower that was in his hair. It was pale and cold, so they went and decided to have some meat when they got back. Yain is worried about the incident that happened on that day when he used his power and killed the detective. Yain doesn't want to leave and wants to spend more time with Youngshul. The detective took that flower from the ground, and finally, he found Yain. Yain is thinking deeply. The weak one becomes food for the stronger one, and it's called survival of the fittest. It is a natural rule that applies to all beings. Every being understands this rule, and it's something called the food chain, but the deaths are something hard to understand. Some died to beat the heat, and some died to make others bear the cold. Some died so others could innovate. Some died so others could carry money. Some deaths are for decoration, and some are for others' enjoyment. Yain remembers that incident when he tried to avoid another death. Yain was collecting something in the basket to eat, and 12 years have passed since Yain was born. Yain becomes used to human society, and their neighborhood has changed so much over the past years. The roads became straight, and the buildings became taller than before. Yain was going through the river bridge, where nearby there is a factory sprout, which is in front of their house. Yain came to the house, and Youngshul is resting as she got sick. Yain spits the bone and remembers the moment when Youngshul scolded him for spitting the food, which is beneficial for him but is the food that he hates the most. It is a difficult catch, Youngshul remarked to him. Yain regrets that he did not stop her from eating after she attempted to force him to eat it, and she eventually completed it on her own. When Yain covers Youngshul's head with a cold, damp cloth, she begins to feel slightly better. Yain gets up, and Youngshul understands he is going to school while he goes to the market to sell apples to earn some money for their livelihood. Yain is thinking about humans. They destroy everything for their own comfort, causing pain for others. But why must Youngshul be the one to suffer? A man came and asked him the price of the apple. That man told him that every individual is unique, but in order to maintain peace and set boundaries, human society has created laws. Yain accepts that he has broken one law that no one should ever break. He has murdered the detective in the past. The man is the detective, to whom Yain fractures the hand. The detective wants to meet him earlier, but he wants to watch how the monster grows up. The detective questions him about why he pretends to be human and arrests him. Yain says nothing while he might be investigated for spying, but as the detective says, he has sent people to get his mom for an investigation for spying. And the investigation will be rough. The detective warns the two standing behind Yain to get away from there if they don't want to die. Yain uses his power. The ground cracks, and he runs away so fast. What happened? Asks the detective's buddy. Replies, calling Yain a monster in the process. You don't understand. Due to his capacity to morph into anything, and his perception that the investigator didn't regard him enough on that particular day, Yain decided to transform into the calamity. Humans are frequently seen as the center of the universe despite having a fragile constitution, and this is because they employ language. Because of their highly developed communication ability, humans were able to form society and establish civilizations more quickly than any other species. Yain also understands their language, and he can never forget his time with Youngshul. He doesn't know if it was a curse or a blessing. In the flashback again, Yain runs and jumps, using his power to reach home quickly. The two detectives were discussing. One asked the other, who was sitting and smoking, who had been told off by the chief. The detective feels strange about the fact that a 12-year-old kid is a spy and the fact that the chief deployed so many people to capture him. He also heard the chief use his position to exert control over everything, but the detective tried to stop him because he was scared about the kid. A group of people reached Yain's house, and the group leader ordered them to drag Youngshul out. Meanwhile, Yain lands behind the group, grabs all their attention, and they wonder from where he came. Because Yain doesn't appear to be a spy or a criminal, the leader asked Yain if he lived in that house, but everyone has concerns about Chief Kim's order. He was mistaken. And now they all want to take Yain for an investigation so that they may say whatever they want. They asked Yain to come with them, and he was about to take action, but between them, Youngshul came. His leader understood that he is Yain's mother and she is ill, but irrespectively, he orders them to capture both as they follow the chief's orders. Youngshul is afraid for Yain, so she screams to call everyone for help, but no one hears, and one punches Youngshul in the cheek. As Yain saw that, his body felt chills, and he could sense the anger boiling inside him. Just like that, he lost his sanity. Yain killed all the people who were in the group, and Youngshul sees him and calls him crying. Once again, Yain has made the same mistake. He killed people. Meantime, Chief Kim came with others and told them as he said the kid is a monster, as it can be seen. He was surrounded by dead bodies. Chief Kim ordered his friends not to go easy on him. Yain is about to attack again, but Youngshul comes in front and pretends she killed all of them. Youngshul makes others believe his child did nothing and lets Yain go. Yain remembers the moment when she said she fights to protect him. Yain's eyes flood with tears, and he starts wailing, grabbing his chest. Youngshul remains in front and tries to make Kim believe his son didn't do anything and take her. Kim noticed Yain crying, so he understood his weakness and set his gun toward Youngshul. Yain comes in front to protect Youngshul, as Kim already knew this, and ordered his mates to shoot Youngshul. But his mates fear that if their other mates don't resist, how can they? Kim orders them to follow his instructions if they don't want to die like his friends. They start shooting, and Yain uses his powers from all the lives he lived to the extreme to overcome the firing. Yain uses his armadillo power to defend himself, and the bullets just hit and break on his body. Yain resists the shooting and protects Youngshul, which surprises Kim, but he orders them again to keep shooting if they don't want to die. Now, Yain has no choice but to kill them, but before Yain takes action, Youngshul comes forward to protect him, gets killed by the firing, and falls to the ground. As Youngshul takes his last breaths, she places her hand on Yaen's cheek. She meets him in the afterlife, where Yaen is crying, something he had never done even when he was born. He apologizes to her, feeling lost and confused about his powers. Youngshul reassures him that it's all because of her, and he asks if things would have been different had he known earlier. Youngshul soothes him and expresses her gratitude, telling him that having him as her son is the best thing that has ever happened to her. Youngshul asks Yaen to do her a favor. Yaen is standing in front of the people who killed his mother, fuming with rage, and his mother's voice echoes in his head. No matter what happens to him, no matter what he needs to do, keep living. Kim has questions. What was the reason behind his obsession with Yaen? There were numerous reasons, but the answer was apparent. Humans often take pride in their capacity to understand the world around them, yet they also tend to feel apprehensive and avoidant towards aspects that they find unfamiliar or incomprehensible. That's why he tried to bring things to an end. Yaen sees his mother's dead body, and his voice still echoes in his mind live. Yaen cannot live with humans. If so, he might hurt other humans or kill another human, but his mother's voice again echoes live. Yaen decided to accept his mother's favor to live, and Kim became alert. Yaen runs away from there, repeats his mother's words, and decides that he will live no matter what happens to him or what he needs to do. Kim orders his friends to get into the car and follow him. Kim has assumed that Yaen is weak now, and this is the last chance for them to capture him. The sun is about to set, and Yaen remembers his moments at the same place where he is standing right now with his mother. Kim and his friends reached him in the car and stopped in front of him. Kim taunts him to stop running and suggests he run again, but Yaen responds that he didn't do the same thing again back there because his mom would be hurt if he did so. Yaen apologizes for the people he killed earlier, and for all who are here. After hearing this, they were shocked for a while. Yaen realizes everyone has a mother who loves them and someone they love as much as Yaen does. Kim praises him for talking pretty well. Yaen understands and accepts that he clearly did something wrong by killing people, but it also applies to them, who killed and took too many lives ruthlessly. Yaen tells them they destroyed and messed up all things, but they don't understand what he has said and take his gun up and become ready. Yaen has always questioned himself about why he has been reborn again and why he has such power. But now he has the answer. His purpose for existence is to lead useless humans toward extinction through driving. Yaen uses his power. The ground starts to crack. He jumps to the sky, and his enemies' feet start trembling with fear. Yaen comes down like an asteroid and collides with them, which leads to destruction. The car flips over and all are killed. The ground shatters and breaks apart in all directions, and the surroundings are destroyed. Kim comes under the rock and gets stuck, but he is alive. Kim says his last words to Yaen. He needs to die, and monsters like him are not allowed to exist in their world. Yaen has no regrets, and he tells Kim he is right. He should have killed him, but unfortunately, he failed to do so. Yaen uses his power to kill Kim, saying that in return, he will make every human suffer from his wrath. Kim is ready to be killed, and Yaen used his power to punch and kill Kim. The blood flew into thin air. At night, the moon shines in the sky. Yaen carries Youngshul and walks without stopping. Maybe Yaen is tired. He began to hear the voice of Youngshul, which was impossible for him to hear. Yaen remembers the beautiful moments he spent with Youngshul when he was born, or the moment when she fought to protect him. The words of Youngshul that Yaen heard many times are finally answered. He loves his mom.